Those of you who don't know, I lost the election and became president. We have a guest speaker. I am going to have Marilee introduce him since I have never met him before.
It's cold out there. Well, we have the luck of having seen Alexander once before. He came and spoke to us last February and recited some of his tremendous poetry. It was awesome. He got us all jazzed up. We loved it. And now he has written his first book. It's called The Spokane Story. And it's been out since...
It's not out yet.
It's not out yet. Okay.
It's not out.
It's close.
Very, very close.
All right. So...
It's coming out this year.
All right. Awesome. So please welcome Alexander Manzoni.
Okay. Welcome, writers. Thank you for joining me again as I discuss my path and writing process. It has been a long one, arduous, with many ups and downs since I first wrote a poem in 7th grade, all the way back in 1997. What have I been up to since we last met, aside from growing my first beard, ever? Well, I have one thing to say. It's a boy! That's right, I'm going to be a father. Alexander Antonio Manzoni Jr., or Xander, is coming in May. So now you have an explanation as to why I haven't been to any of these meetings, or in the public as of late. My incredible girlfriend, Sophia, was able to be here with us. Hi, baby.
Yay.
I mean, babies. Woo! It seems that the path of the pen has always called to me. My mother was a super avid reader before her eyesight began failing. She worked very hard to culture me as well as my brother in our formative years. In many ways, it provided a unique source of growth hitherto unknown amongst my South Jersey Italian farm people peers. In other ways, it worked me. Do not let your 3rd grader read Stephen King. They'll learn a lot of funny new words. That's for sure. My brother never recovered from the Encyclopedia of Vampires. My mom bought him at the clearance section of A.C. Moore, a store akin to Michael's many years ago. Anywho, words can shape us. Words can direct us. They are the underlying current of all of our entertainment. All they need is a little polish and a home. Since the last time we met, my writing has found some homes. Alien Off the Coast of Atlantic City will be in the upcoming Omniverse's Interplanetary Poetry Sci-Fi Anthology, published in the Philippines. 3 poems were published on the website beerbooze.com, and a writing contract for my horror novella, The Program, via Psychotoxin Press. It has been signed and returned. The novella is due out in spring. No due date on Omniverses, but I'm sure I'll hear more on that soon. The Program will be my 2nd solo book after The Spokane Story, which, by the way, still in the formatting stage, but is due to be sent to the printers by the end of this month. The Spokane Story is the tale of father and son meth cooks living on the streets of Spokane, getting into trouble. Many of the elements were based on real-life experiences that happened to me, or with hearsay during my time on the streets and as a drug addict. Now I shall read to you the opening chapter of The Spokane Story. I had it loaded, and now it's not loading. That's something, isn't it? Oh, there it goes. Okay. There is a beauty to the cracked asphalt pavement, to the lonely abandoned apartment buildings, to the squalor of dimly lit alleys. It is a Spartan industrial aesthetic rarely acknowledged by those who have not embraced it, and rarely seen still by those exposed at night to its dangerous secrets and unforeseen hazards. Prologue, Walmart. Pete Scarborough and the old man slowly traipsed down the aisle toward checkout with their shopping cart. Inside was a baby stroller in a box. It was the cheapest, biggest one the store had left on the shelf. The stroller had been emptied and discarded from its container. It was time to restock on some of the more essential items, At least the ones that weren't kept behind the counter. Batteries, camping fuel, a 3-gallon jug of porch cleaner, automotive starter fluid, distilled water, a pool pH testing kit, lye, yellow rubber gloves, and some tins of cat food. Why do I gotta be doing this again? Pete complained to his father. Because we're in this together, boy. Oh, yeah? Oh, yes, said the old man. In for a gram, in for a kilo. That's what I say. He grunted and beckoned Pete to pick up the pace. This cart you picked up is a piece of shit with its wobbly-ass wheel, said Pete. All you ever do is complain, said the old man. Do you think they're on to us? Pete asked. I don't think so. I think we're in the clear, so far. In the clear, Pete huffed, looking about the store. That's a good one. We're not out the door yet. When you think of a better idea to get all this stuff done at once, go ahead and tell me. I'm all friggin' ears. Now shut up. Try to act normal for once. Can you do that, huh? You think it's possible with all the goddamn dope you're on? Yeah. They finished the gathering of inventory and thereafter stood in line behind the morbidly obese androgynous land whale with a cart packed to the brim with Diet Pepsi. A jolt of fear crept up Pete's spinal column, striking each vertebrae with lightning bolts of disconcerting activity. Had one of the store dicks made them? Calm down, boy, said the old man through the corner of his mouth. I should have took a Xanax, said Pete. I offered, but you didn't want it. It would cut into your hide. Shh, don't shush yourself. Don't you shush me, I'm your father. The Acme Vulgaris-ridden clerk greeted them. Hi, folks. Are we doing well today? Oh, it's about as good as she's going to get, said the old man. That's good, that's good. Did you find everything all right? We sure did, said Pete, looking away, not meeting the clerk's gaze as if he were the Medusa of Greek mythology. Little did the Scarboroughs know that the jug of hydrochloric acid had sprung a leak at the juncture of the cap and bottleneck. The old man briefly thought there was something off in the air. Rotten eggs befouled by time and circumstance. Pete did not notice the smell because his mucous membranes were fried from doing hot rails, a practice whereupon one snorts a line with a glass or metal tube heated to a red glow with a butane torch. The old man paid cash. The clerk thanked them, and the old man told him, go piss up a rope. They were a few feet from the door when the bottom of the box melted and acid began to pour out right in front of the elderly greeter. The caustic fluid spilled everywhere, melting shoes, dissolving everything in its path. Boy, I told you to make sure those caps were on tight, the old man yelled. I could have sworn I did, answered Pete. The greeter, a geriatric fellow, tried weakly to stop them, saying, Hey, you two, where do you think you're going? Fuck off, snarled the old man. He gave the shopping cart a quick burst of acceleration and barreled through the greeter, and they made their escape. So that is the opening chapter of the Spokane Story.
All right.
Many that whole situation right there, based on a story that was told to me when I was in rehab about a guy who was stealing from Walmart by filling stuff up in a baby stroller box. And I kind of I brought that together with my experiences of when I lived on the streets of Spokane for 3 months over at the House of Charity, the United Gospel Mission, and about 11 days under the bridge by the UGM. And just from getting all that material and from exposure to those types of people, I was able to make the character of the old man. I'm sure we've seen that guy in a million different places in Spokane, yelling it up in the store, or, getting into fights at McDonald's or whatever. But I found that I had to take all the trauma that I experienced while going through all that and through my addiction and try to find a way to positively deal with it and maybe make a few bucks doing it in the future, And that was the idea of the Spokane Story came in 2014. When I was at the day room at the UGM, and I thought, there's a story here, and then it took me another 2 years or a year or two before I started writing it, but it was always in the back of my head. And I always write down all of my ideas. I keep just a running tally of everything, you know, on a notes pad. And that's been really helpful for me as a writer. Just anytime, anywhere, got to have either a pen and paper or something to be able to get down, you know, ideas before they get away from you. Because once they're gone, they might be gone forever. Now, my process is simple, but not difficult. It may not be practical for most. I wake up every morning, usually between 3 and 6, and make my coffee and get to writing. Before I moved to Audubon downriver, I used to sit down with my laptop and pound it out on the keys. But nowadays, I go outside on the porch and write in 10 to 20 minute segments on my phone. Then throughout the day, I'll go outside and continue through the rain, the snow and sickness and blistering winds. It takes a truly dedicated individual to become an author. Sometimes I'll pepper submissions around when I find them. Facebook groups has been instrumental in doing so. Not to mention following any publications I may want to submit to in the future. Sometimes there'll be free open calls. You never know when you might find a home for that off-the-wall story or poem. Which brings me to the program. Sending out the program was done on a lark, but it happened, and I couldn't be happier about it. They said they loved my story, which was great because I wasn't so sure. Thought it might be a little too crazy, but it turned out that's exactly the kind of piece they were looking for at the time. The program is a tale of a recovery house gone mad. A fiendish house owner preys upon the sick and destitute. I got that idea back in 2007, 2008, when I was living in a series of recovery houses after my first and second stints in rehab. I thought, boy, it would be easy to make people disappear from such places. The cops aren't going to ask a lot of questions. Oh, he went out to go use. They'll turn up soon enough. Probably OD'd in the gutter somewhere. Case closed. See how easy it could be? That's exactly the idea I furthered into the novella. The story didn't come into motion until almost a decade later. When I was on a roll, a string of novellas came out one after another. And there is inspiration, you have to ride it. Because when it relents, you're going to be in trouble. That's why having a good, stable writing routine can prevent some of this. Sure, you'll run out of steam from time to time, just a few paragraphs, a couple sentences down, as long as you're writing. Now, as far as self-publishing, originally I was going to use one of those websites that utilize templates, like bookbaby.com. But eventually, I realized the importance of the local literary trade and opted for Grey Dog Press. It turned out that their prices were cheaper anyway, so I definitely recommend them. I can't tell you exactly what their rates are. They said they'd give me the full tally when the manuscript is submitted. But I recall that the guy thought the BookBaby prices were a joke. We are in an era where it is up to the author to promote themselves, and self-publishing is part of that. You'll likely go broke sending your work to those pay-to-play publishers that charge you exorbitant sums to read your submissions for consideration. Once they have your money, they're done with you. See ya! I was burned a couple times, but at least it was only for maybe $5 to $10 each time. Some, especially to read your novel or poetry/short story collection, charge much more than that. They say it's to cover operating costs, but that shouldn't be our problem. So I tell new writers when they ask me to avoid those, though it seems like there are less and less free submissions available each year. In conclusion, writing is an altogether difficult and tumultuous path, but it is one whose ticket is worth the price of admission. I wouldn't be alive without it. The longer I remain rightfully committed, the longer I stay the right path, and the better things are getting. Thank you, SASP, for having me. Have a great day.